What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. The Olympic basketball-wise officially gets started up tomorrow. They're doing the Olympic, ceremony today. So it's kind of getting underway. So today we're going to be taking a look at the basketball portion of the Olympics and doing my power rankings for all 12 teams that are in the Olympics. At the end of the video, I'll show you, who's in what group. But I think some of them get started tomorrow, then some of them will get started Sunday. USA officially does not play until Sunday. But let's go ahead and get started here. So basically in each one, I'm going to include a couple of notable players that you might recognize that, have been in the NBA or at least high-level college players before. So coming in number 12, we've got Brazil. Notable players for them: Gui Santos plays for the Warriors. Raul Neto and Cristiano Felicio, they've both been in the NBA previously as well. Now, Brazil kind of has fallen pretty quickly as far as their basketball-wise is concerned, their basketball reputation. Not terribly fallen, but not really probably competing for a medal this year. I think there's some clear tiers here, and I'll break that down the further we move along. But I think there's like a clear imaginary line to where everybody above this line, not here, but everybody above said line could compete for a medal. Everybody below probably not going to. But at number 12, Brazil. All right, number 11, Puerto Rico. They've got most notably Jose Alvarado. You may recognize him, plays for the Pelicans. Sorry, he's kind of Puerto Rico's leader right now at the guard, kind of a sleeper. If Alvarado goes off, if Waters goes off, he's had some good run as well. I think he played for LSU in college. But if Jose Alvarado can go off, they might be able to go on a run here, but the rest of their roster is not as good as a lot of these rosters, so I don't see that happening. That's why they're towards the bottom here. Our number 10, Japan. They've got a few notable players here. Rui Hachimura, you're going to recognize his name, from Gonzaga, from the Lakers. Yuta Wannabe, he played in the NBA as well. Taminaga is the one that made the NCAA tournament this last season for Nebraska. You may recognize his name. He is in the NBA now. I don't think he got drafted this past season, but he has entered the NBA as an undrafted free agent. So they've definitely got some talent. I don't think they'll probably advance, but it is possible. All right, number 9, South Sudan. All right, they're slowly moving up the boards here. Now, this team actually could have been a lot better. Most notably, all right, so players that are not on this list that were originally on South Sudan's roster but are not traveling with them for the Olympics or were not cleared. That is Bol Bol. You're going to recognize his name. All right, big tall player for the Suns, our Manute Bol's son. And then also Thon Maker. You may remember him. The Bucks drafted him a while back, kind of back when they drafted Giannis as well. But they're notable players. Wenyen Gabriel and JT Thor, both NBA caliber players. JT Thor's a dog in 2K, by the way, if you have ever used him in 2K. But Wenyen Gabriel, a notable name here. They kind of gave the U.S. a really good run in one of their exhibition games. I think they lost to them by maybe 1 point. So South Sudan gave them all they could handle. Now, they're in a fairly tougher group as far as they've got the U.S. They've got another team we'll talk about here in a little bit. So it's not going to be easy, but South Sudan, I think, is talented enough to advance here. All right, let's move it on to number 8, and we have Spain. Spain, another team, like Brazil, is just quickly falling off. As far as not quickly falling off completely, but you think back to a few years ago, like however long, 10 years ago, they were challenging, the U.S. for the gold medal game. They had the Gasol brothers. They had Ricky Rubio. Now, they do still have some notable names. Rudy Fernandez, Juancho Hernangomez, Willy Hernangomez, both notable names as well. So they definitely have talent, but they are aged a little bit compared to some of these other teams. So I would not be surprised if, this team somehow won a bronze medal or something, but probably not going to happen. Our number 7, Greece. Okay, now this team, obviously, you arguably could say you have the best player in the tournament, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. But other than him, they have like no NBA people on this roster. They've got a couple that had brief, cups of coffee in the NBA, but didn't last very long. So this team is going to go as far as Giannis can carry them. And this team didn't automatically qualify. They were one of the last qualifiers, to kind of win that final qualifying tournament. I think they beat Luka and everybody else that's in his country for that last spot, in the semis to kind of get advancing. But Giannis is good enough to carry this team, but the rest of the team, yeah, he's going to have to pick up a lot of slack there. All right, so we've officially reached, I think, the legitimate medal contenders. These top 6, I think, are the clear top 6 teams. And, Greece, if Giannis goes on a run, it might could shoot up the board, but I don't think it'll happen. But I think here and above are the legitimate medal contenders. But Serbia, notable players, they've got a few NBA guys on here: Nikola Jokic, Nikola Jovic, and Bogdan Bogdanovic. I couldn't fit his whole name on here. But this team is most likely going to go as far as Jokic goes. Now, when they played the US, they didn't have Bogdanovic, and also they probably didn't show everything considering it was an exhibition game and they're in the same group. This is who the US is going to play on Sunday, so we'll know a lot about them pretty early. Now, if you're not aware, the top two teams from each group are going to qualify or advance automatically, and then I think from uh, the top two third place teams are going to qualify as well. So that's kind of how the breakdown will be as far as advancing once they're done with group play. But Serbia definitely could be in the running there. Our number 5, France. Okay, so this team has a lot of potential. The thing that's going to hold them back is going to be guard play because they don't have the guards of old. They don't still have Tony Parker, which they had, forever. But with Victor Wembanyama, Rudy Gobert, they're going to be stout down low. But can they surround them with shooters? Now, I do have some other NBA guys not shown here. Evan Fournier, obviously. You've got Bilal Kuzbi from the Wizards. So I think, they definitely have some talent here. And if they can get improved guard play, I think this team could be a legitimate gold medal contender because Wemby and Gobert are so good. But you're going to have to surround them with some pretty good shooting on the outside. But everything down low in the paint, like if Greece comes up against them, they're not going to be able to beat them because Giannis isn't going to be able to probably finish inside over those two. So France, they also have the home court advantage, so they might be able to go on a run. Our number 4, Australia. So I was actually impressed with this team when I watched them. This is another team that is deep, but they are a little aged. Okay, so Josh Giddey has kind of ascended to be their best player now. You've got Patty Mills, you got Joe Ingles, you got Matthew Dellavedova, Josh Green. They've got a ton of NBA players here. And the big thing with them, they don't have a big man you can see here. So they're going to probably go as far as Josh Giddey can dish it out and see if these guys can hit shots. So if Patty Mills can get hot, if Joe Ingles can get hot, if somebody can get hot from the 3-point line, I think this team's going to be a threat because Josh Giddey actually impressed me in that game against the U.S. Our number 3, Germany. So they did win the last FIBA World Cup. Notable players they have: Dennis Schroder, Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner. And then also they have Daniel Theis. Sorry, that's another NBA name you'll recognize. Against the U.S., they were really big size-wise. And this team can play. They can shoot. Franz Wagner, however you say it, in particular, is a really big threat in international ball. Dennis Schroder as well kind of took away from him a little bit. I thought Schroder shot a little too much at the end of that game. But if they can get hot, Germany has enough size to be able to compete with anybody. Our number 2, Canada. So probably the team with the most U.S. players. I think they're about not U.S. NBA players. I think they're about 10 deep NBA roster wise. So they've got a ton of guys on this team. In particular, SGA, all right, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, arguably one of the best players in the tournament. Jamal Murray from the Nuggets, Dillon Brooks. So they're very talented guard wise, and that's not something you see with a lot of these guys. Like we talked about France, they were good down low, guard wise, not so much. Now, Canada, their question is going to be the big man. All right, you've got Dwight Powell down low. How is he going to be able to play? So we'll see. And then also, like I was talking about Australia, they have, Jacques Londell, I think's his name. So he's pretty good as well. But Canada, I think, is in good shape to go on a run here. They have enough talent to compete with anybody. All right, and number 1, we've got USA. They're just too talented right now. Now, if Kevin Durant does not come back, I don't know, this team might be in trouble because they haven't just been blown away yet. Now, they have been exhibition games, so I doubt they've just, gone completely off effort-wise. But with LeBron and Steph, as well as the rest of the roster they should have enough to be able to beat these teams. But Durant would definitely help. But with how they've played so far, I don't think it's a gimme. Like, I could easily see them losing some games. But let's look at the groups real quick. Group A, you've got Australia, Canada, Greece, and Spain. So Australia and Canada were the 2 that automatically qualified for this tournament. And then Greece and Spain got in the end. I probably see, Australia and Canada getting out of this one. But this, before I leave, this one has been kind of referred to as the group of death because Greece has Giannis and Spain just historically has been good the past, 20 years. Group B, you've got Brazil, France, Germany, and Japan. France and Germany should advance out of this one, but you never know. Then Group C, Puerto Rico, Serbia, South Sudan, and USA. As of right now, I would say USA and Serbia, but I would not be shocked if South Sudan beats Serbia. Uh, as far as the A teams are going to advance, probably I would say US, Serbia, South Sudan, France, Germany, Australia, Canada, and then probably Spain would be my guess. But those are my Olympic power rankings. How would you rank these 12 teams? Are you going to be watching the Olympics? Let me know. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe.